everybody, we have a new episode of the AVL RACETECH podcast. And as you know, we only do that randomly because we are always waiting for super interesting people which we are ourselves interested in and who achieved something in motorsport and had a big influence in motorsport. And one of these people, one of these very special personalities is Tatiana Calderón from Colombia. Hello, Tatiana. Very, very happy you can join us here.
Oh, Ellen, thank you so much for having me. It's always a pleasure to talk to somebody that has left a big impact in motorsport as well, like yourself. So for me, it's a huge privilege to be here in AVL RACETECH.
Thank you very much. It's always nice to start something like that with double compliments like that. But actually, you are right. Of course, we are both women in motorsport who achieved something. But you had an extra hurdle to overcome, which is your nationality, because you grew up as Colombian in South America, of course, and you made your way, let's say, into the world, but maybe first to Europe. Tell us a bit about your history, of course. From how did it start when you were a little girl?
That is very true. Sometimes I don't realize how far I've come from where I come from Bogota in Colombia. We only have one racetrack, which is 2.5K long in cars. So I think I'm very grateful because in my career, I tested in a rental go-kart track, 5-minute ticket, and I fell in love with the speed and adrenaline. And it was by the time Juan Pablo Montoya was reaching Formula One, so everybody in Colombia was crazy about him and watching the F1 races, and that's how I got inspired to, okay, I want to reach the highest level of motorsport because I really love being the feelings that you get when you drive. I'm sure you identify with this. But I think having those dreams and when you're a kid are so important because I was just reaching for that dream of one day sitting in a Formula One car. And sometimes I think it's a long process, but if you don't believe it in yourself and that you can do it, there's no way. So I'm proof that no matter your nationality, your gender, that you can realize some big dreams.
Yeah, a little preview to those who may not know. You made it into Formula One as a test driver. But going back a little bit, did you dream of Formula One from the beginning of Montoya? Or was it really, something instantly coming? When I started, it was more a hobby, let's say like that. And also, what influence did your family have? Do you come from a motorsport family?
So I don't come from a motorsport family. We didn't know anything. It was me and my sister. We started at the same time. I actually, a lot of people don't know, but I have a younger brother. And he was zero interest in motorsport, which is really odd. So I come from that kind of different family. And I'm very thankful because my parents, they always okay, what do you like to do? And I was able to do what I really loved. But it was really early that I've always been very competitive and I wanted to reach the top in sport, in whatever sport it was. So I think that passion to grow very quickly was really early on. And it was more about convincing my parents that their little girl with 9 years old from Colombia wanted to be a Formula One driver, and they looked at me like I was a bit crazy.
Of
but
course.
Then crazy, thanks God I was crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting. My little brother was also zero interested in motorsport, but I come from a motorsport family, at least karting, but also no connections in the big motorsport or nothing. So I can imagine how tough that was, even tougher for you. But what made you think, or did you have any idea? You can say at 9-year-old, I will be a Formula One driver, but did you have any idea what that meant already? Did someone in your family, also Paula, who's your manager now, or not only now, throughout your whole career, did you both know, the two girls from South America, did you know what that meant?
No, we had no idea, thanks God, because now, of course, now that you've lived through all these moments, you realize, oh my God, how did we end up here? And I think that's the most important part, like to like the process. You never know where you end up, but having like to go through that process, I think it brought us together more than ever. I think, like you said, family is so important, and having somebody to trust, that you trust. And I think I wouldn't be able to sit here without my sister. Like, she's been, I don't know how it was when you were growing up, if you had your dad or mom coming with you, but it's so pretty important to have somebody you trust with you. So we've been through a lot, but I wouldn't be able to sit here without having my sister with me.
Definitely. At what age did you leave Colombia for the sport?
I went straight after I didn't went to graduation because there was a race right in my graduation, so I skipped graduation. But after that, I went to live 6 months in America, because I started actually in Star Mazda, when it was called Star Mazda back then. So straight away I went to America, and then that transition, because it's a little bit softer when you go from Latin America to the US. Most people speak Spanish and everything. But then to Europe was a huge transition for me. And I did that one more alone. So I was like, why am I here? But at the end, it worked out.
I can imagine. What age were you then when you went from Latin America to Europe?
I was 17.
17, difficult age anyhow. Did you feel the loneliness, etc., which is an extra burden then? Of course, no? Yeah.
Are you good in the kitchen? Because I suck. No. I didn't know.
I can repair everything.
I didn't know how to cook. I didn't know anything. Like that, you can't rent a car or anything. We in Bogota, we don't have metro or any, like, just the buses, but it's a really big shock culturally. We don't have winter, so I was freezing, and then you're a bit depressed because of the weather, and you don't know anybody. And thankfully I went to Spain. A little bit the language was easier, but it was a really big adventure for me. And I think that's why I got so close with my sister after she went to study a little bit in Spain. And that's when, like, okay, I need somebody to travel with me to do all this stuff. So it came naturally that she started to manage all that and more for me.
Perfect. I mean, you have achieved incredible things in your racing career. Incredible. And I think sometimes people even don't get it, that you did IndyCar full season, not full season, but many races. You did Formula 2 full season. You did Super Formula in Japan. I mean, you touched all the highest levels, twice Le Mans in LMP2. But this little step in the end, from a sportive perspective, to the top Formula 1 or hypercar or whatever, that you didn't do. So when did it come? Well, you made it to Formula 1 as a test driver, and we have to talk about that a bit later because I'm very excited to hear everything about it. But when did it come first time to your mind that it may be more difficult for a woman in this sport than for your male competitors?
No, coming from somebody that has raced the best of the best, it's thank you for those words. And I think I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that I have had in my career to race like amazing cars, like you said, like Super Formula, F2, Le Mans, and I only started to realize that it's different for a woman when I started to, when you reach to the top, because one thing is participating, and a lot of those opportunities, I feel like I'm grateful, but I feel like they were more like let's get this girl participating and not really competing to go to the top. Yeah. And that's the big difference, that, to go to the top, absolutely, all the details need to be right, from the engineering side, from the communication, and from the ergonomic side as well. So I started to realize that I was maybe not so comfortable, for example, in a Formula 2 or in an Indy car. The physicality of those cars were
Still today, yeah.
too demanding for my body type. No matter how much I trained, there were certain things that could have been done better. And I started to dig in and find that maybe there's a lot of cars that haven't been designed taking in consideration the female measurements.
Yeah.
Our cycle every month, we have a cycle, so we don't gain muscle as quickly, and we are up and down, and it's our nature. So understanding a bit more like who am I, and what strengths and weaknesses do we have when we have when we are racing a car, has really brought me to, okay, I think maybe we are thinking that we need a woman that will kick everybody's butt to get to Formula One, but maybe it's Formula One or these high-end categories that need to do changes in order to extract the maximum performance of a woman behind the wheel.
From this perspective, it looks dark, I would say, because there were so many discussions, and I know that you did the test drives with power steering in Formula 2, Formula 2, Formula 3, to evaluate what has to be done, etc. And now the new Formula 2 will be again without power steering. And I have to say, even the boys, the young men struggle. That is no secret, yeah. So, and in Formula 1 you have power steering, so that doesn't even make sense. Yes, it's a bit more expensive. Yes, it's a bit more weight, but it doesn't make sense. I remember very much when we were driving DTM with qualifiers, and qualifiers have such grip you cannot imagine. When you would go to depots or other tracks with a hairpin, you had to find the precise point, because if you didn't make it, you would go off track because you could not 1 millimeter do the steering anymore. So grip, and we did not have power steering. And I realized there for the first time, I cannot say anything. If I say, this is impossible to drive, they will say, it's a woman. And luckily enough, it was Klaus Ludwig at the time. He was already the master of the German Touring Car Championship, the DTM, one of my team colleagues. He complained and said, guys, this is completely impossible. We need power steering. And everybody was like, oh my God, luckily the master said it, because it's nobody, especially when you're a girl in this environment, you cannot say, oh, this is not, we have to change something. So that was very surprising that they now again go without power steering in this important classes where we know that the boys struggle as well. Strange.
I couldn't agree with you more. I think they wanted to, I don't know what they avoid. At the end, in these categories, you pay so much money to go racing that should be out of question. I guess a lot of people have this perception that you need to be super strong, and that only you need to have to earn your way up. But I feel like these decisions at the end harm us a little bit more than maybe other stuff. And I think the cars and motorsport is changing so much that it's a shame, because that's the way you have to go through to Formula One these days. I feel like there is still like a margin. Like when I drove these cars for the first time, the new generation cars, there were some configurations that were drivable, but then you need to make them mandatory. Nobody can go above that.
Absolutely.
And I think with the rules that we have, with the tire construction, there's so much to do research on okay, what can harm maybe somebody that is smaller, that has maybe less strength, that we can do without changing even the car. But we need to be willing to do those investigations. And this is, I think, we are still missing that bit of pressure.
Definitely. So many young girls now coming. It's so motivating to see that. And nevertheless, it will still take some time you can see that for everybody you have to step up the ladder. Some categories try a bit, I would say, like Formula E, when they have their young talent tests or young driver tests, they put a lot of women in there as well. But when it comes to the Formula classes which lead to Formula One, it's a dark hole for women. I'm always looking at your helmet, empowering women. That's very nice, and you do a lot in this direction as well. Which, looking at this empowering women, makes me also look to your book. You wrote a book about that, about your motivation, about how you made your way, and empowering women for the next generations. Show it, please, to us, to the camera. For all Spanish speaking, but you have to say that in Spanish now. I don't know how to say that.
We need to work on having a German and an English version. It's called La Niña Más Veloz que el Viento. So it's the girl quicker than the wind, in a way. And the wind is the whole like atmosphere telling you that you shouldn't be here because you're a woman. And we beat that voices to realize our dream. So that's the book.
That's your story, but also a lot of empowerment for little girls, younger women. Who would you recommend to read that?
Honestly, it's been amazing to have the comments from even the parents. Mm-hmm. They read it to the kids, and they're like, I feel identified with the story. Yeah. Professors and all, like in schools. Yeah. They read the book, so it's been amazing to see that a lot of people identify in different ways with your story and being sort of the underdog. But it's been amazing to see the response of the people, and that's how we start changing, because we're not going to change the world, but we can start.
Absolutely, everybody can do a little piece. Yeah, definitely. So if there are any German, English, French publishers watching, there she is, the woman who is quicker than the wind. I think it will be a bestseller. It is already in Spanish, so yeah, look for it, look out for it. Contact Paula, the manager. We will give you the number. No, seriously.
She's expecting a girl, so she's even more
perfect. Well done,
you
Paula.
can teach her as well through all you have done in your career. I mean, I have to be like, the support you have given me, the belief, honestly, I think we align in so many visions that together is how we start to change things.
It's exactly this, empowering women not only from the male side, but also each other. This is so important. I mean, you have a lot of contacts. I have a lot of contacts. Other women who made it to a point have a lot of contacts. Support each other. Give chances. Be coaches or be the like an older parent. Giving advice, etc. Which brings me directly to your new role. Yeah, I mean, you're still active. You're in the GT3 at the moment in the US, in the IMSA series. You help us sometimes here and there when you're in Europe in our simulator background, our AVL simulator. For example, also validating models like Formula 4. Yes, we do the simulator for Formula 4 now because we see more and more demand from karting drivers who go into the sport, who then, before also they first touch wheel on the racetracks, go to simulators. So we see the demand. So we made a very good, I think, meanwhile, Formula 4 model. We adapted the steering wheel so that they feel comfortable in our professional simulator, and the demand is definitely there from the karting world. So this professionalizing is going to much smaller series already into karting, and you work for a Formula 4 team, with a Formula 4 team with quite an interesting background. As not only the coach, you really are on the racetracks, you work with young talents. Why did you not bring your young talents to our simulator yet? We have to clarify that later. Tell us about your job.
Oh, every time I go to any team, I want to bring AVL RACETECH with me because I see a lot of the work that you do. It's very helpful, not only for the driver, for the engineers, to shortcut so many things. So we are organizing to bring our drivers here to test the best model
Very
of
good.
F4.
But you have to test later again.
Absolutely. So I just tested actually the car for the first time. I had never actually driven a Formula 4 car. So it helped me understand when you're coaching. But I'm part of Thibaut Courtois Racing, TC Racing. He's a football player, the goalkeeper of Real Madrid. And he fell in love actually through simulators with motorsport. So during the pandemic, he was playing the F1 games and he was like into racing. And in 2 years, this is the second year of his F4 team. He has an esports team as well, and has this interest to really help young drivers that maybe sometimes it's difficult to get the budgets together, but he likes to really get the talent going out there. So it's been also a discovery for me because I've always been a racing driver, but you learn so much from being on the other side, on the engineering side, without testing the car. What do I say for him to have this confidence to get better? So it's been, I think all the work we've done here with AVL RACETECH has helped me prepare for that moment. But like you said, I'm still active and still love to race, but it's also complementary to do this work with TC Racing.
How come you have all these super famous supporters? I mean, the goalkeeper of Real Madrid, you work for the team now, and they seem to love you, actually. When you open up the website, I had made a little bit of a research myself. They are very happy you're supporting them. Then you have Karol G, one of the most famous Latin American singers, Bichota. And how come you find this support of all these super famous people?
I'm very grateful. I don't know what I did right. I would like to know. As kidding. I think it's amazing, when you connect with people that have that same vision. I don't know if destiny sort of puts them in your way, but with Karol G, we've been together for 3 years. She has this foundation to empower women in all situations, and she has really helped me a lot to get the visibility that at the end of the day as a driver you need, because it's not only driving race cars, but it's like the social media, all these aspects, sponsorship. So we have learned a lot from her and her team, because is the sister also the manager. So a lot of synergies there, and with Thibaut Courtois, I feel like that energy that he puts in the team, the values that he wants to bring, is the philosophy he wants for the team. So I'm very grateful to have met two celebrities that have the same sort of passion and vision for an end goal.
Yeah. And this Formula 4 team, are there plans that you go together with them for the next years? Is this a part of your future in motorsport as well?
I feel like they want not only to do F4, they want to grow the team. So they are going to Eurocup 3 next year. Maybe doing some other projects in parallel. And we want to get to know each other a bit more to see the plans. But I see, like, if we can get that good stepping stone for drivers. Even we have a lot of Latin Americans coming to this team for some reason as well. And it's like a family, like when you get to a family team, it's always super nice. So we'll see where it takes us. But so far, I feel really confident with them and the trust they have in me. I'd like to put that experience into good help.
You raced in Formula 1. No, you did not race in Formula 1. You tested in Formula 1. And is it true that you still, until today, as a test driver for Sauber Formula 1, have the 7th quickest lap in Fiorano, their test track from Ferrari? Is that still true?
Oh my God, you did a really good research on that now. it was an amazing day, and it's true. I think I have the record on that car.
Oh my God, fantastic.
I even remember, like, when we went to the next, like, the to the race. By the time I was the test driver, it was Charles in the team, and he saw the lap time, and he asked, like, "Oh my God, did she cut a corner or what? This time is incredible." It was like a pinch moment for me, but it showed that, when I had, like, really good engineers that believed in what I could do, that guide you in the right direction, that you see it where you want, that you have that power steering and that confidence. There's no limit to what you can do, and I feel like as women we deserve these kind of chances. And I think, I'm not sure if you ever got a call to, like, after you did all this success in DTM.
In Formula One. I had a chance once. I had a chance once, which disappeared, unfortunately, because Mercedes was the engine supplier to, I think, Sauber as well. No, who was it now? Yeah, Sauber, of course, to Sauber. That year were Karl Wendlinger. And I got a call from them, you can drive the car in Vallelunga, Tuesday after Monaco, something like that, the race. Yes. Yeah, I see the sparkle in your eyes. I had that also. I went. I did so much preparation for neck, everything, and the thing was that Wendlinger had this very bad crash in Monaco, so they canceled the test. At the end of the season, Sauber and Mercedes went different ways, and I never got the test. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, that was a pity. Since then, I said I will never sit in a Formula One car. Only when I drive it, so I never sat in a Formula One car. But, well, that is. But also your story, I mean, is so motivating I mean, this is fantastic. But it's also so sad at the same time that that you proved you are quick and never got the chance. So, yes, you are one of these few women who really cracked the glass ceiling, but who will ever go through? How do you see the future for women in Formula One? At the moment, we don't have a woman in Formula 3 or Formula 2 either.
Yeah, it seems like we're going backwards, right? Because
same feeling. We're going kind of backwards. We have so many women, and we will have more and more and more women in professional motorsport, maybe earning money with motorsport, which is a great thing. But yeah, the pinnacle is still Formula One, or yeah.
I think we've focused so much on participation that I think it's important, right? To get more women so that one can rise to the top. But we haven't done the work in terms of what, because women and men, we are different. Our bodies, our minds, the way we operate, our thought process. So I feel like if you put a woman in a car that is designed in terms of not just like how you're sitting, but set up for somebody that has a certain profile like men do. How can that be that a woman drives that same car if we have different nature? So I think to fit in, you have to, sometimes the changes are not made that make you feel confident, and 2-3 tenths of a second are the difference between having another chance or I don't think she's good enough. And it's not that she's not good enough, but I feel like we need to do more research in the performance area. What do women need to perform at the highest level? It can be different than men, not better, not worse, just different. And until we don't accept that, in my opinion, we won't see a woman having the results in F3, in F2 to get a chance in Formula One. But I don't know how you see it.
I see it a bit differently because I always said we are individuals, and even the spectrum of driving styles and abilities and capabilities within the male motorsport world is so big differences. Yeah, also some are very tall, very small. Milesi in Waco, so it's very small guy, and then you have the tall guys like Ferdinand Tapsburg, for example. So from the physiognomy and also for the driving styles, and say they also have a range. I agree. A bit more research would be definitely better, definitely. And I agree that very often women get the setups and everything which do not fit to get the most out of their quick times. But for me, the main thing is trust. That you said it also, but I want to put it in one word: trust. The trust that a woman can do it. Why did nobody trust in you that you could do it when you did the 7th best time in Fiorano? That is the question, you know. Because from a marketing point of view, we all agree it would be, yes, I mean, if I would have the AVL RACETECH budget and it would be multi-million, I would put that all in a woman in Formula One, because the marketing output would be incredible. And but the trust on the engineer side, the team owner side, etc., is not there. So for me, it's more, how can we build, even in Formula One, circumstances, possibilities for women to be in Formula One, maybe not in one of the 2 places in the Formula One, but to be in a Formula One permanent testing program on all the tracks, etc., etc. This is more the way how we lead them there. Or maybe a 3rd car for a team at a point. Okay, it is a bit unrealistic, but you know, just think out of the box, because the normal ways do not work. They do not work, because I'm in this sport for 40 years now. Nothing has changed in the end, though there are big changes. I work with More Than Equal in the advisory board now, and we do a lot of things, both of us and many other females in motorsport try to do as much as possible, of course, but it stays difficult, so we have to start thinking out of the box. And trust is the main thing. But we have some quick karting girls at the moment, so let's see. Trust is growing. Let's see.
Yeah, the mentality.
I hope I'm still alive the day the woman, one or more, because I don't want to even talk about one woman in Formula One. It should be 2 or 3, or, you know, like showing the real participation of women in motorsport as well. And also for the 50% of viewers and fans of Formula One. Yeah, that would be I don't want to even imagine. It's a multi-billion business. Yeah. So let's see. There will be some changes. I'm very happy about everything we talked so far. Are you looking forward to sit in our sim later? Shall I tell you a secret? I've never tried it.
No
No,
way.
I never tried it.
Can we change that today?
I never tried it. I feel scared a bit that I could, you know, I don't know. I don't want anybody to watch. So then we can do it. Maybe
we
if
close
you
the
run,
door.
Be the operator, we close all doors and I would sit in, yeah.
Let's make a deal.
And the second thing is, I fear, because I can feel it. Even when I'm retired from actual motorsport, I'm on the other side of the pit wall, let's say like that, I feel that I could fall into it immediately again and put, like I did through all my career, everything into driving. And that would be maybe not the best idea, you know, at a certain age, and also for budget-wise, it's maybe not a good idea. Yeah.
That's one question I wanted to actually ask you. Is like, when do you take that? Like, do you ever? Like, for me, it's so hard to watch when I'm not racing.
Yeah, same.
I feel the pain, and I was wondering if that pain ever goes away.
No. Okay. I'm sorry. Even when we visit, I mean, I'm a lot on racetracks, in the WEC, for example, Formula One. Formula One I like to watch, but in the WEC, the hypercars, oh my God, it's like a schnitzel for a dog, you know. You wave with the schnitzel and you want to have a bite. It's the same. It's the same. I see these beautiful cars, this wonderful technique, and with what you said, with the knowledge we gained from the engineering side now, I would be also, again, better, though I was always interested in mechanics and engineering, but nevertheless, the knowledge grew also throughout the last years. And I would I would step in immediately.
So I know what
This
I need
virus never stops.
to do
It's
to get you back
unstoppable.
into racing. Just give you a track
No,
day
I'm
and
happy.
running the sim.
I'm happy to watch you in the simulator later. Yeah, thank you very, very much for joining us, Tatiana. What a pleasure. And of course, you have to follow all her social media channels. And if you like this podcast, do not forget to subscribe to our AVL YouTube channel as well. Do you have a YouTube channel?
On the works.
Under construction. So keep in touch with that and make a research in the internet. Thank you very, very much. And thank you, Tatiana, to
No,
join us.
a pleasure having to spend time with you, Ellen. Thank you so much for all your support and for AVL RACETECH support.
Thank you.